Tell me the story about how did you become familiar with Noam Elimelech?
Okay, I had a case with an Orthodox Jewish defendant, and this was a cold stone loser. And I tried to plead the guy guilty, and the judge wouldn't take the plea because he wouldn't admit that he actually knew that he'd committed the crime. He wanted to plead guilty because he was a lawyer, and he said, I should have known that what I was doing was wrong. The judge said, no, I'm not taking your plea, you have to go to trial. So the day before the trial, I'm sitting in my office, and one of my forensic accountant was there. I do tax litigation. And I said to my forensic accountant, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have nothing to say. The guy's guilty. And he says, here, give him this book. I said, what is this book? He said, just give him this book and tell him to hold on to it. And I said, okay. And he says, now remember, you can only give this book to other Jews. You cannot give this book to any one of your clients who isn't Jewish. I said, fine. So I gave the book to this young lawyer. Next day at the trial, the first witness, got on the stand. He was shown certain records, said, I don't recognize these records. I said, what the heck? Then the second witness, they bring another witness, says, I can't do it. I don't know who this is. Then they brought in their cooperating witness who said, gee, all of that handwriting that I told you belonged to the defendant, I now recognize it's mine. So at this point, I'm wondering what the heck is going on. Finally, my client demands to get on the stand. He gets on the stand, puts up his right hand, affirms, because he's Orthodox Jewish, and says, Your Honor, I know I told you I didn't know that what I was doing was wrong. I went to a lawyer. The lawyer told me that I could deny that I'd ever committed a crime because it was more than 10 years. The conviction was more than 10 years. But now I know it was wrong and I want to plead guilty. The judge says, you're not going to plead guilty. We cross-examined up and down by the assistant U.S. attorney. Kept saying, look, I'm guilty. I agree with you. I'm guilty. The judge is looking. So it was a bench trial. So then I wanted to call a rabbi as a character witness for the guy. He also was a diamond dealer, but that's another story. And so I say to the judge, I have a character. He says, I don't want to hear the character witness. She says, not guilty. At this point, I'm saying, what in heaven's name is going on? So 6 months later, I get an Orthodox Jewish accountant caught dead to right with a undercover agent filing a return that was inaccurate. So I give him the book. So I then go to the DA's office, this is in Brooklyn, and I showed how this undercover agent had signed a document claiming that everything he told my CPA was true, even though it was nonsense. DA drops the case. I'm saying, oh my Lord God. This happens 2 or 3 more times. And then one of my clients, whom I'd given the magic book, Elimelech's book to, one of my clients, who had won her civil case, brings her mother in. Her mother has stage 4 kidney cancer. I said, what do you? So she said, would you give my mom the book? I said, is she Jewish? She said, yes, but she's not a believer. I said, well, she's got to believe. I said, I don't care if she's observant, but she's got to believe in Hashem, or else it doesn't work. So the woman says, I believe. A month later, completely cured.
Wow.
This has happened 3 times.
Wow. What's your expert opinion on today's hearing?
My expert opinion is that the argument went as well as humanly possible, and now it's in Hashem's hands. And Hashem was definitely on Levi Tan's shoulder today.